Over on Instagram and YouTube, I keep seeing people talk about their spring and summer, well, spring makes sense, but their summer goals and basically categorizing spring and summer together. I kind of do the same with winter and fall. To me, knitting season-wise, those two go together, and then spring and summer is together. And I too have fallen onto the excitement of spring and summer knitwear and having a collection, a wardrobe for summer knits. I'm currently working on my second Camisole number 4 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I'm sorry, I just dropped the stitch. Okay, so I am currently working on Camisole number 4 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This is what it looks like right now. I just attached the two triangle pieces together on both sides to simulate the straps, but the straps haven't been added. So the armhole, don't worry, won't be this small. This time I am working it up with Sadness Garn Sunday, and it is in this gorgeous kind of mossy green. I absolutely love this color, and it is a new yarn, a new color that I've just picked up recently. I got too excited and I was just, you know what, I have the yarn, why not cast it on? The first one was knit up, I think almost 3 years ago now. It was like the first tank top I ever knit from My Favorite Things Knitwear, but also the first tank top I ever knit. I really enjoyed the pattern, I really liked the final look, but because I had knit it in a cotton and I didn't know this at the time, cotton, personally for me in past experience, expands over the sides, not much over length. Basically what I think it's because of the rib, cotton just like doesn't really bounce back. So the rib kind of just takes its wideness. And basically what ended up happening is I had a very boxy tank top. So I always had to wear shirts under it, always, I don't know, I just didn't really wear it. It ended up being very, very wide on me. This time, maybe it's because I'm a better knitter, but it's going really, really well. I'm working it up a lot more quickly than I did the first time. I think the first time it took me an entire month, even more than a month, because broken rib takes really, really long. I think I took a little bit of a whoop, a little bit of a turn. Okay. So since we're talking about My Favorite Things Knitwear, I think we're just going to continue with her. And the first one that I want to talk about is actually Camisole number 9. Now, I've mentioned this one quite a lot in the past, and I think I'm about to cast it on, maybe right after this tank top. It's going to be the next tank top I work up. So the yarn that I'm going to be using is to kind of go similar with what she did, which is a black yarn. So I'm going to knit this up in Drops Nord because I actually really like this yarn. It's soft, it's squishy, and it kind of stretches really well. And this black is just so black. So I think we're going to do that. This yarn is 170 meters or 186 yards. It is 45% alpaca, 30% polyamide, and 25% wool. Camisole number 9 was a pattern that was released by My Favorite Things Knitwear last summer. It calls for a fingering weight, hence this yarn, and it calls for 656 to 1,300 yards or 600 meters to 1,200 meters. I know everybody was talking about the collar, the collar and the sleeve, but the armband to be a little bit tricky. So I'm really interested to see how I will find this tank top. I've knit quite a few tank tops by My Favorite Things, and I absolutely love them. She's my go-to for tank tops. So I'm really excited to be able to cast this one on. I've actually already started this one, but I just wanted to show you guys. It is actually the Elisabeth Blouse. So we'll be talking more about it in my upcoming Knits and Babbles next week. But I already started it, but I did want to share this because this is probably going to be one of the patterns that takes me a really long time. So I'm using this beautiful cone of 100% baby alpaca. It is variegated teal, and it is a 2-ply. This is technically supposed to be for weaving, but I've basically caked it up into into like a bunch of mini skeins, and I'm just knitting it 3-ply at a time. So that is that. The Elisabeth Blouse is a pattern that was released last January, so it's now a year old. It calls for a sport weight, which is why I'm holding 3 lace weight together. So it calls for quite a lot of yarn, but I just fell in love with the collar, and it's been on my list for the longest time. So I'm really, really happy that I'm finally adding it to my wardrobe and casting it on. Sorry if I'm going a bit quickly through these two patterns. It's just, it feels like I've talked about them for the longest time now. The next pattern that I would love to cast on is something that I've actually haven't done so far, and it's such a simple, small project, and I feel like it's one of the first projects people cast on, and hopefully I'll be able to use some of this Himalayan Deluxe bamboo for it. So this is a Turkish yarn, and it is 60% bamboo, 40% cotton. I absolutely love this yarn. I've knit 2 tank tops with it and a pair of shorts last year. And the patterns that I would love to cast on, so far I have 2 on my list. I just need to decide which one. Maybe I'll do both. I have more of this yarn in different colors. First one is the Everyday Bra. And I just love the idea of having a bamboo cotton bra so that it would be light and just super, super soft against my skin. This bamboo yarn is so soft. It calls for 50 to 75 yards, 46 to 69 meters. It really doesn't call for much, and me being the size that I am, chest-wise, I would probably make the really, really small. The Everyday Bra is just that, a classic everyday bra that is comfortable to wear and at the same time nice and simple. I'm pretty sure I do have some invisible elastic thread, so I think I'm just gonna also in the band add some just for extra support. The pattern is by Naked Knit, and I've been wanting to knit up my own bra. The second one that I would love to talk to you guys about is the DK Sugar Boo Bralette. Now this one I would have to hold both together because these are fingering weight yarns. And this one calls for 245 yards to 600 yards, or 224 meters to 560 meters. And basically if I hold these two together, now that I'm looking at it, and this skein runs 273 yards, I think I have a third one of these even. So technically I could make both bras. We'll see how it goes. But the DK Sugar Boo Bralette calls for US 6 or 4 millimeters, US 3 or 3.25 millimeters. Apparently it's a spin-off of the Sugar Boo Bralette, which is a Aran weight bralette. So that's an even thicker weight. But I think I prefer the DK weight one, and then I'm already gonna have to hold these two together. If I go Aran weight, then I have to hold even more yarn, which means I can't do the first bra. The next yarn that I would love to use in my stash is currently this beautiful mohair from Tofino Knit Company. It is mermaid mohair, and it is 72% kid silk mohair and 28% silk. It is 50 grams for 420 meters. So I think I have quite a few of these. And I know that in the past I had mentioned I wanted to do the souffle top, but this is the souffle top, by the way. I've just fallen in love with this new mohair only lace work pattern, and it is 2 yarns held together. So it is a fingering weight, but it is the Felice Blouse by Yuka Tomioka. It comes in Japanese, English, and Korean. And I just love how the back can be the front. I love the lace work, the very little dainty rows, anything that is horizontal, I'm here for it. I just love stripes, horizontal bars. So the fact that it's bars of lace work, I find that stunning. But at the same time, very light and kind of fairy-esque almost. I don't know which way I prefer it better. Having the opening in the front with the little cute bow, or having it in the back and just kind of having like almost a boat neck at the front. So this pattern calls for a lot of yarn. The smallest size, it calls for 1,378 to 2,000 yards, or 1,260 meters to 1,800 meters. So this is a relatively new pattern that came out last fall. I also absolutely love the triangular, very loose, wide sleeves. I find those really, really nice. I don't know why I just did that. Looking at it, because it's like a layover piece, and my experience with my novice cardigan, I think having mohair only knits would work best as a layover piece personally for me. I love the feeling of mohair. I love the look of it. I find it soft, but when it comes to direct skin to skin contact, I don't really enjoy it so much. The other blouse feels more like a tighter knit, like I would need to wear a tank top under it. But this one, I don't know, this one just feels better knowing that I need to wear a shirt under it, if that makes sense. I feel like this one would just resonate more with me. So this one's been added to the list. The next yarn that I would love to be able to use up is my Long Way Homestead yarn. And these two were actually projects that I dyed up last year. I made videos about it. This one was plant dyed natural in the sun. And then this one was a stovetop flowered traditional dye method. It's all yarn that I got from a subscription box. Every month, I have a couple of these skeins, different wools. And every month they send you a different sheep, a different breed of fiber, different plies, different, this one's like a single ply. This one is a 3-ply. And this one is also a 3-ply, but a different wool. It's all completely different wool. So basically the whole plan of the subscription box is so that you get to try out different sheep, learn a little bit more about fiber, and there is actually a spinning box, which now I'm thinking about joining, but we'll see. The thing that I want to cast on with these is possibly a slipover. I want to do my own slipover or just pick a pattern and basically do my own color work version of it. I'm not too sure, but I really, really want to use these colors. But I do have another orange, like another level of orange, which I think is kind of in between these two. And I just think that being able to use all these colors together would be beautiful. I kind of want to do like a messy slip over, just like messy colors, like things happen and it's planned, but it's not so planned. I got inspired by at first I really wanted to do a V-neck slipover, kind of like the Stockholm slipover by Petite Knit, something kind of like that. But I wonder if, I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry about that. But is the Nola slipover. So this is a slipover pattern from November 2020, and it is by Svetlana Volkova. I just love the collar and I love the deep V armhole. It calls for 650 yards to 1700 yards or 594 meters to 1554 meters, US 11 and US 13, 8 millimeters and 9 millimeter needles. So I'm going to list that on the side because I said a lot of numbers. But I think that this yarn would look beautiful in a type of slipover like that. So I might knit that one or try to figure out my own thing. And especially with the color, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do as color work yet. They smell nice. The flower ones smell nice. But I'm not even sure, like this would just need, I need to prepare more for this, but this is really something that I would love to cast on and knit up and kind of see how all these colors and weights and yarns work together. I think it would be a really fun project, and especially since all the yarn is from the same company, I think that that would be really, really swell to just kind of put it all together and kind of create something very unique and very me. The next pattern that I want to talk to you guys about is on my list, but I don't currently have a selected yarn for it. I just thought it was such a fun, pretty spring knit design. I absolutely love it. And it is the Darjeeling Blouse by Trust the Mojo. And it is a pattern that came out last July. It calls for sport weight and it is in English and in French. And it calls for US 4, which is 3.5 millimeters. I just recently am all about the little kind of blouse effect, like the little buttons and the little v-neck with the detailed trim. The motifs on the arms with the little flare is very spring, and I absolutely love the detail of the sleeve. It kind of has, I think that's what's called a saddle shoulder. I might be wrong. I haven't knit any really interesting sleeves like this, but I love that it kind of is really, really wide and then opens into the arm instead of having either a seam here or just having like a round about shoulder. I think that that in a lovely cotton or a lovely blend, like a more summery fiber would be perfect. The skein has seen some things, But another yarn that I've talked about in the past is the Gazelle Giza Mat. Now this is 100% Giza cotton, which is supposed to be like really amazing. I've yet to knit with this so far. Gazelle is a Turkish yarn brand, but this is yarn from Egypt, Giza. And I have quite a few of these. This was yarn gifted by my boyfriend's mom when she came to visit, I think a year or two ago. I'm not too sure which visit, but I absolutely love this green, and she brought me quite a few of these. And I remember last year I said I would make a dress with it. Summer came and went and no dress was made. Like with a bralette, a dress is something I've never done and never knit. Same with the skirt. This is what I was planning last year, more like a salopette overall dress, or just like a very wide triangle, like deep V dress that I can wear over t-shirts, over other stuff, maybe a short dress. So I thought that that's what this yarn would be really, really well for. I still need to draft something and design something. At the same time, I also now picked up this yarn from Knit City last September. It is 65% Tucson silk, 35% linen. It is a fingering 3-ply yarn. And this one runs 448 meters, but this one runs 250 meters to 273. So this one has quite a lot more yarn in it, but it is a thinner weight. And when I saw this, I thought immediately dress. This would look stunning in a very simple A-line dress, just a smooth dress. So I picked up a few of these skeins. Now, my reason for putting them together is because I don't know which one will come first. I think I want to knit 2 dresses with these, but I don't think in one summer. I don't know. We'll see. But it would amaze me if I was able to knit 2 dresses in the same year. Sunday Fiber Co. The color is minted and the yarn name is Fieldling. So that's what this one is. The Gazelle Giza Mat is, no, there's just color 5,562. That's what this one is. So yeah, so I'm undecided which one to do first, and I have been trying to find a matching blue for this skein. This is the Fiber Co. Cumbria Fingering. And I have been searching for a perfect blue to match with it because last time I did swatches for a swatch video, the blue it wasn't it. So I have been struggling so hard to find a blue for it. And I stumbled upon, and it's just not working. And I think I'm just not going to cast it on. Maybe at some point in the future I will, but right now I just can't find the colors that I want for it. So I think instead what I'm going to cast on is Johanne's Loop Sweater. It was published this month, and I just love the black and white version. I just love the way it looks, and I think what I'm going to do is potentially use my hand spun yarn from Knit City from Esri Spins a Yarn. It is a merino. It is 523 yards. Yeah, so I need 212 meters. So I most definitely have enough for the color work, and I think that's what we're going to do. I think these 2 colors are going to look beautiful together. I kind of wanted to use this for my porcelain sweater, but I felt like the porcelain, I feel like it needs to be the blue and the white, and that's what looks most like a porcelain one. Now I'm going to need to find a mohair to hold with these guys because it does call for a lace and a sport weight to create a DK. But I think we're just going to make it a little bit of a thinner sweater. And I don't know why. I feel like these 2 are just going to be beautiful. So if you guys haven't checked out the Loop Sweater by Other Loop, I highly recommend you do. I love, love, love the long rib. And I think having a long cuff in this very unique color would be stunning. I have been so scared to knit with this yarn. It's been 2 years since I bought it, and I think at some point Yarn is made to be knit up, and like, yes, this hank is pretty, but I can't be scared of it. I need to cast it on. Another pattern that I thought I would mention just because it's stunning and it's a deep V, and I've been trying to get more into V-necks, although the Elisabeth Blouse is my first V-neck in a really long time. It is actually the Rivendell pullover by Sari Nordlund. And this one was released in December of 2023. It's a DK weight. It's like a giant seed stitch, but then it has a very nice V detail. It's not just like a simple rib, but there's even a cable. And I just think that this would be a perfect knit for spring before transitioning into more summery full tank top knits. Because this knit actually calls for a 75% wool and about 25% linen fiber mix. Just because the original pattern wasn't just knit with a wool and like a mohair, I think that this in a cotton blend, or as this pattern calls for, a linen blend, because it's not just like a woolly knit, you could actually wear this in early summer, late spring, late fall, early fall. Like, this kind of is a perfect pattern to blend into the season. There seems to be even a version. It's to switch out the rib at the collar for an I-cord, which I find really, really interesting and unique. I love when patterns give you flexibility like this. It makes it just more wearable, and sweaters don't only need to be for winter. So I find that really, really fun. Another pattern that I hope to cast on really, really soon is actually the Florence bag by Petite Knit. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about this one because I've talked about it a lot, basically since I got this yarn. But the yarn that I want to use for it is this beautiful cotton kind of neon lace weight cone. And I want to pair it with this Lillian Pine dandelion lace, which is 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% silk. I think that these two together would look stunning in a little bag. And if you guys haven't checked it out, I highly recommend you do. The original pattern doesn't call for a mohair. I saw a kit at Knit City that was selling. I had a bag like on the hanger, and I thought it was super, super cute. And it was this yellow mustard neon. And I wanted to buy the kit, but the kits that they had were only grays or reds, and I wanted a neon kit. So I went and I found my own from two different stores, Maurice Brassard and Fils. I don't know what that is. And Lillian Pine. So I went around and I found these two, and I am kind of making my own kit. But that's really what inspired me to basically buy these. Without having seen the bag first, I probably would have never thought, I'm going to make a neon purse. And it calls for 180 yards to 689 yards, or 165 meters to 630 meters. And finally, I don't have a pattern for this one, but it's just yarn that I've had in my stash for, I think, over a year and a half now. And it was a knitcrate subscription box. If you guys remember knitcrate, or if you haven't heard about it, it used to be a subscription that would send you yarn in the mail for, it was 2 skeins every month. And it had like different themes, and it was really, really fun, and it was good quality yarn. And this is the Spray Rose, 48% merino, 20% baby alpaca, and 32 organic Prima cotton. You only picked which like theme you were. You couldn't pick what color you got. So it was also part of the fun, not knowing which color out of the theme you were gonna get. And basically what I like about this one is that it's like a chain. It's like the yarn is braided, and I thought that that was really, really cool. I've never knit with a yarn like this. So if you guys have any recommendations for a pattern which calls for this type of yarn, I honestly have no idea what to do with it. It is a DK weight. It calls for US 5 to US 7 or 3.75 to 4.5 millimeters. And this is 274 yards or 250 meters. I have 2 of these. So if you have any pattern ideas of what this yarn can be used for, let me know in the comment section down below, because again, I have never knit with a braid, with a chain type yarn. So I basically just got a couple more rows done on my tank top. I didn't really get that far. I'm getting kind of hungry. It's lunchtime. It's 12:40. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, enjoyed this little knit and chat, and kind of just hang out together. And I hope you guys have a lovely, beautiful day. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.